we also may still be having the conversation right there at Gordon House, and we're hoping to get more direct information from them. Right now, we're not going to waste any more time. I want to bring in now, she's a friend. Before she was a high commissioner, now she is the High Commissioner to Canada, the Commonwealth of Canada, the Honorable Marsha Kaur Laban.
Sir Marlon, how are you?
Good to hear you, my friend. Where are you checking in with us right now?
I am in Ottawa. I'm literally in office still because the work continues as we endeavor to get the relief supplies and support to Jamaica. So the team here, and I know in Toronto, my Consul General is the same thing. We're going nonstop to try and make sure we get as much supply and support to Jamaica as quickly as possible.
Biggest question I have for you though is, how is family, your cousins? Tell us which parishes they're from. Let us know if they're okay.
Okay, well, thanks, Marlon. My immediate family is good and fine. They are predominantly in Kingston, so the rain and the light going for a little bit. But extended family and some members of my in-law have properties in St. Elizabeth. Some were overseas, thankfully, at the time, so they were spared. But they have had some damage to their homes. But again, we have life. We will recover, but our heart goes out to those who do not have homes and lost everything.
Right. This. So, High Commissioner Laban, how many WhatsApp groups are you in?
You don't want to know. I told the Consul General on Sunday, no more. But we, outside of the WhatsApp groups, you have persons in the diaspora who have been constantly. So you go, my day-to-day is up to 12 a.m. in the morning. Then you try to get some sleep, but by 7 o'clock, you will see the text coming in either from diaspora members, regional organizations, the diaspora leaders across, or the WhatsApp groups. And again, I want to give kudos to the Foreign Ministry, who is working beyond the hours just to try and keep us updated outside so that we can share the updates as real as possible with you. So again, I know my permanent secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not stop. We just keep going.
So take us into the room with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. I'm sure you, the Global Foreign Service team, you have calls with this natural disaster, this humanitarian event, unprecedented to Jamaica. What is being coordinated? Tell us, bring us into the room if you could, of what is being coordinated by the High Commissions and the consulates and the consular offices and the embassy that the public should know at this time.
Okay, well, for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our missions overseas, we are coordinating centrally the overseas support. Again, this is going to require all hands on deck. So you find the High Commissions and our consulates have been reaching out, whether to our government partners, to stakeholders on the ground, the NGOs, and it's trying to coordinate along with the teams on the ground. So ODPEM, the ministries, because each ministry or agency will have special needs. So it's ensuring that we have up-to-date information and keeping our diaspora up to date as well on what's going on. So we are playing that support. And as you would have seen in the news, we've been getting tremendous support from our international partners across the globe. And we want to thank them, Canada being one of them. And I know you have US on, and US was right there the next morning. With support. And this again comes through the relations that we have built over the years through the Foreign Ministry and the missions, as well as Jamaicans. Jamaicans across the diaspora are brand ambassadors for our country. And because of the kind of persons we are, you find that there's an outpour of support to help us during this time of need. And we are truly appreciative.
Tell us specifically what is happening from the government, the Canadian government, in collaboration with the Jamaican government. What is being coordinated right now? What agency or agencies are on the ground? And what are you saying to Canadians across from Ottawa, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal? how are Canadians organizing to support Jamaica at this time?
Okay. Canadians, as they have always done over the years, and this is one of the reasons why this is one of our very strong partnership, has always been supportive. The Canadian government has earmarked an initial sum of $7 million, 5 to among the countries that were impacted, and you called the names of all the countries a while ago, and $2 million specifically for Jamaica to assist in the relief effort.
Okay.
In addition to that, we are anticipating there will be more support with respect to the rebuilding in terms of getting communities back up. And so that whole resilience, building the resilient communities, Canada has always been supportive and has always provided funding in this area. And so we anticipate there will be more support. On Saturday, there was an aircraft from here, from Red Cross, taking down well-needed supplies. I'm not sure if you know as well, Marlon, that there is an agreement, a standing agreement between Canada and the Caribbean in terms of when we have natural disasters like this, there is a military mechanism that is triggered.
That's great to hear.
Provide boots on the ground or support. So there's a search and rescue team that was deployed yesterday to provide assistance along with the other international partners. We have been getting calls from the local municipal leaders or mayors or MPs also asking how can they assist and identifying specific areas. So we're in touch about agriculture as we look to start rebuilding economic livelihoods. How can we get support in that area? Lumber, construction to start rebuilding homes. And at the same time, health, supplies, and food. And diaspora-wise, I feel so blessed. We have such an amazing diaspora here, and I have served in the US. So I know how great the diaspora is there too. But the outreach that has been made from our diaspora community is overwhelming, and I'm so grateful. So there are several locations set up to get non-perishable items and humanitarian supplies to Jamaica. And every day, this is one of the reasons why I'm here, because you're getting emails constantly of either agencies or diaspora representatives who, have said, okay, I have contact here, we can get you more of, like a while ago, I just got an email about lumber from Alberta to back with the building. You have medical supplies. And then we have the NGOs. We have like Global Medics that sent down 1,080 water purification kits and humanitarian emergency kits right the day after. Food for the Poor Canada has been working assiduously with us. We have Atlas Shippers, who again, he just said, listen, I will store, put it together and ship free of cost from Canada all humanitarian supplies to Jamaica. And I know the CG will weigh in because there are others who have also come on board with that. And then all of our associations across the provinces, so this mission, the High Commission and the Consulate met with our regional leaders in terms of diaspora leaders last week, and they've all mobilized. So there are fundraising efforts. This week we have the concert in Toronto on Saturday, that's Thursday. Saturday is Montreal, and it goes on in terms of all hands on deck. And so, High
Commissioner, let me ask you then, because there's just so much for the regular person to really sift out.
At this time.
What is their starting place in Canada for information to be centralized so that they can understand how they can donate, how they can deliver supplies, how they can volunteer? How can they find out about drop-off locations, or how can they find out about their family members? Where should they go as it relates to the High Commission for Canada?
Okay. So on our website, the Jamaican High Commission Ottawa, on the consulate's website, there is information. We also put out information around the clock on Instagram. We have a direct number that persons can call to us. It's 343-961-5200. So persons can call or send WhatsApp. And or
repeat that number again for me.
343-961-5200.
Okay.
And Jamaica at jhcottawa.ca is a direct email address that persons can reach out to, and we're getting emails. So they can go on the website. If they go onto the Foreign Ministry website, there is a supportjamaica.gov.jm. That's the government official platform. And on that platform, again, all of this information will be there. So even
Excellent.
today, we were asked to update on where persons can drop off items across Canada, US, and all over. And so we have been sharing that, which will be uploaded to that platform. So the information is there. Again, just circulating, and our organizations are also spreading the word for us.
We are building the plane as we fly it. Honorable Her Excellency High Commissioner Marsha Kaur Laban, you can reach her office and her team at area code 343-961-5200. Let me repeat that again for Canadians and friends of Canada, 343-961-5200. You can also follow them at on Instagram, the High Commission at Canada, Jamaica. You can also follow the consulates in Canada at CG Jam Toronto, and for Ottawa, Jamaican High Commission, Ottawa. On Instagram, for those people who are social media savvy, I need to call my auntie and tell her to get on it in Toronto. Jamaican High Commission, Ottawa on Instagram, CG Jam Toronto for the consulate in Toronto, and Canada, Jamaica for the High Commission. Her Excellency, thank you for joining us. We will be in touch. Thank you for sharing this information. We certainly would love to go to another one of your colleagues. I'm not sure if we have Consul General Kurt Davis ready to join us here on Jamaicans.com. CG Davis.
How are you doing, Marlon? So good to be with you this evening.
Have you gotten any sleep?
Just a little, just enough to keep going. You know, we are used to this life in the foreign service. You just keep going, and there's so much to do for Jamaica right now that we are just going on adrenaline, and that's enough for us.
Boy, hopefully this is not an endorsement, but hopefully you're drinking your Milo. So Consul General Davis, tell us what Canadians in Toronto, Jamaicans of Canadian descent or Canadians of Jamaican descent saying to you. What's the biggest question you're getting to your office?
Well, my Milo is right here, as you see. Can't do without it. No, what our Jamaicans really are pushing for is pretty much what the HCS flag. How can they help? What can they do? So in fact, just before jumping onto this meeting, I just wrapped up a coordination meeting with so many of our Jamaicans in the Southern Ontario area, right across, coming from the cities of Windsor, London, Ontario, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, across the greater Toronto area, going all the way east to Durham. And it's all these teams of people who have decided to come on board and launch some initiatives for collecting items, donation of relief items, doing fundraising alongside the consulate and the Jamaican Canadian Association, which is the main diaspora organization here in the Toronto area. Now, what we've really been doing with that is trying to ensure that we are streamlining the operations, because we want the items that are coming in, we want them to come as a priority items, and we want to get them to Jamaica as soon as possible. And that's what we've been focusing on right now. We do have a number of persons who are, of course, reaching out to us to offer their skills and their services to volunteer. They want to actually see how they can go into Jamaica to support the effort of what's going on there as well. So we're starting to, of course, redirect persons through to the ADPEM volunteer site where they are doing that. But we are also starting to look at the projects that we could take on board, because alongside our individuals in the community, we do have some of our partners and agencies and such that are here that want to see how they can create projects that will actually go to help with the rebuilding and recovery effort that's taking place in Jamaica in this next phase. So we're jumping on board on the immediate needs right now, and we're doing that. And as they say in Jamaica, you have to ride and whistle. So while we're doing that right now, we're also looking at the next step and the next phases so that we are ready to start channeling people and resources to respond to the rebuilding effort that's going to be needed.
CG Davis, while we were riding and whistling, I forgot to ask you, how is your family? You know, when we in the mouth of the lion and we're riding and whistling and trying to take our heads out of the lion's mouth, we forget to ask about our own wellness. What about your family?
Well, fortunately, at least my parents live in, well, upper in the St. Andrew Hills, but they spent the hurricane down in Vineyard Town, and then they got home and felt the miracle that nothing happened too badly for them. So we're very happy for that. We do have some extended family out in Westmoreland, though, in the very hard-hit area, Darlington, Betheltown area, and they have almost complete loss there in terms of, you know, material things, but they are happy for life, and they're ready to start the rebuilding process.
Excellent. You know, having moved to the United States before Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, I lived through Hurricane Andrew and that entire period. When you lose your shelter, lose your food starts to run out and your hygiene items. What kind of items do you see coming into the drop-off locations? And has there been any discussion as to where those items are being dedicated to? How are you managing that? How are they getting from all the way up in Yale in Canada to Jamaica? How is the transportation and the shipment of the items? How are you coordinating that from your end?
Well, one of the things that we're getting a lot of is water and non-perishable food items, canned stuff, that kind of thing is coming in a lot. We also have a lot of diapers and, you know, hygiene products, including feminine hygiene products. A lot of persons have just said we need to get those. Persons reached out to us and said, you know, we're going to focus on some of these immediate urgent needs. And we have been having the goodwill of the community in terms of being able to get the items moved from place to place. In fact, just earlier today, as HC mentioned, I had a discussion with two separate shippers who have said they're gonna chip in to see how they can help us move items from the outer provinces right across. And for those who are not so familiar with Canada, it big bad. That's what we call it. So, I mean, to get from items from over in Alberta to here it's like a 5-hour flight from that side. You know, it's very far. So it would be like bringing stuff from the West Coast. That is the kind of distance that we're talking about. You know, if you're bringing something from California over to Florida. So we have to be working with some of our partners to see how they're going to support some of that effort. And we have some more outreach to do on that front. I can tell you one of our Jamaican companies, a major brand in Jamaica, of course, Grace Kennedy, which also operates here. They have also come on board and indicated that they are willing to support us with some of this logistical movement, as well as they have vehicles and such on the ground that can help with that particular part of the movement. And another one of our big branders, which is another diaspora partner, JN Bank, they are also on the ground here and also helping us with collection points and doing all of that kind of thing too. So we have a good, happy family, a lot of partnership and a lot of you know, camaraderie and working together that's taking place across Canada. The persons know each other or don't know each other, and we just jump on a call and start working together in a very effective way to get the job done for Jamaica. Yeah.
Well, you know, life is lifing, and when disasters happen, it happens to bring a family together, right, CG? So, you know, my good friend, the late Honorable Don Webby, from former CEO of Grace Kennedy, used to say many times at board meetings, what gets measured gets done. Do you have a process in place to track the amount of money that's being donated from Canadians of Jamaican descent or friends of Jamaica, and tracking the items so that we can, you know, report back to the community how much return and the impact, because we have more people in need than aid. And until we change that equation, CG, we're going to have a humanitarian borderline crisis if it's not there already.
Right, and we're trying to make sure that we are avoiding that part. Fortunately, with some of the aid that is not actually getting to individuals on the ground in Jamaica, I saw some clips just this evening shared by some of the partner agencies out in Westmoreland. They are now heading into Hanover because the desperation was really coming up big time. And so we're glad that that support is getting there through the JDF and the partners. What we've started to do here is to be able to start tracking all the things that are being donated. Obviously, you won't get every single drop because, as you know, the government has also opened up the framework for persons to send their own stuff directly to Jamaica duty free.
How does that work? So, tell us a little bit about how that process works, please. It's very important.
So right, so those who won't be able to track. So right now, between now and the end of December, this was extended from the 28th of November, which was the original announced date. It's now going up to the end of December. Any individual who is sending any of the relief items listed by Jamaica Customs, and the list is available on all these various platforms that we have. It's usually like the same kind of relief items. I tell people it's the things that you know people are gonna need, not a TV. So you can't send a TV in the hurricane relief. But the things that people really need, like what's popped up on the screen here now. You can send those directly to your friends, family, entities, organizations, as you would send stuff to Jamaica under normal circumstances, and they'll be cleared through customs without import duty or GCT. The other minor fees that, you know, admin and, you know, user fee and such you normally pay a custom broker, you pay a broker still. But you can send the stuff down there. So those things we won't be able to measure here at the consulate, because of course, if the gentleman down on Main Street runs and goes and ships the thing, we don't know. But the ones that are coming,
the customs agency though will be
in Jamaica, they will know, right? They will be able to say what the receipts of things were coming in are. So what we've been very careful to try to do for the main pipeline of things coming through the outreach appeal that's going into the ODPEM pool, let's call it that, that's going to be general relief items. We are keeping a full track of the items that have been sent to be submitted, given over to the shipping company, being captured by all the donation sites. That much we will be able to report on for sure. The funding will be another thing, because our partnership for the funding, nobody's gonna be giving funding to the consulate or to the High Commission. All the funding for Jamaican government entities is going straight to the supportjamaica.gov.jm site. And that's a
very important site for people to pay attention to, because
pay attention to that one.
Very specific email addresses and a list of documentation that you will need to make sure that your items are itemized in the manifest, whether it's a bill of lading if you're shipping,
exactly,
whether it's the airway bill if you're going by air. Go to supportjamaica.gov.jm. If it doesn't have the .jm, which is owned by Jamaica, do not open that link.
Don't click.
Please do not open it. That if you support jamaica.gov.jm, it's owned by, it's a freeway. It's our URL, nobody else, right? So just returning back from Montego Bay, we have one of our diaspora members living and representing the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council. She just returned from Mobe. She just touched down. I don't know if she's breathing a sigh of relief or not, but Lisa Rotti is joining us. Wait a second, she looks so nice and fresh. She just reached back from a hurricane. What's going on here? Lisa, talk to me.
I was trying to put my best foot forward.
What was the experience like, Lisa, and how was your family?
My family, all is well, thankfully. We were not in Westmoreland or St. Elizabeth. My family hails from St. Mary, St. Catharines, and Kingston. So some are still without light and water, but all is well, and no lives were lost there. So very grateful and thankful there.
Grateful to hear that. So know that you're back in. Where are you calling to us? Calling into us live from the expanse of Canada.
Yes. I'm located physically in the 905 area code, which is Brampton, where we have a very large Jamaican diaspora population.
What province is that? Give us a little social
Ontario.
Studies, man. Okay, all right, excellent. So Brampton, Ontario, which is located in the southeast or the central Canada. Okay, excellent. And we have to go back to school for a little bit. So what is the Jamaican diaspora saying to you as a representative on the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council as to what it is that they are most concerned about and how they are mobilizing to support what the High Commission and the consulates are doing?
Really, the calls that we've been receiving is just really the outpour of how they can support. That's been the majority. Lots of fielding questions of how to send items back to Jamaica, what can be sent, how they can support. We actually just activated with the Jamaican Canadian Association in Ontario a volunteer database where persons can log on and pick a time and date that they'd like to come into the center and help to prepare packages to send back home as well.
Excellent. Are you organizing any specific efforts in collaboration with any other NGOs, any other diaspora organizations? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, definitely. So one of our key events that we're hosting is the Hurricane Relief Concert that will be held on November the 6th. So that's this Thursday. We've got about 35 different artists that will come and support. So far, we have just an outpour of love and appreciation for the event. We did the same type of event for Beryl when that happened a few years ago, and we have just surpassed what we've been able to accomplish, and the event isn't even here yet. So we have been working with our partners at the JCA to help with that. Also collecting donations through the JCA that will then go to the the supportjamaica.gov.jm site. And we're pleased to say we've raised over 60,000 Canadian dollars there, and still continuing to grow.
Yeah, we definitely need to track the individual donations, not only to support jamaica.gov.jm, Lisa, but also to track the donations that are going to some of the big and small NGOs as well, because we have to really account for each Jamaican or our friends giving dollars. Who are some of the large NGOs that Canadians of Jamaican descent are partnering with to support Jamaica during this period?
Well, I mean, I could speak to the ones that I personally work with, which is the Jamaican Canadian Association. But we have just a ton of different church organizations. We have Jamaican communities in Hamilton, Montreal. There's a lot of Jamaican organizations that have really rallied together and are working to collect donations, but also just to get the word out there of how persons can support Jamaica at this time.
Right. And the relief dollars are so important, you know, because the large NGOs can maximize. While you can purchase 2 cans of bully beef for $10, the large NGOs can get an entire case. That's why they're my friends, because I can get more bully beef from them. So, High Commissioner Corlaban, is there anything that you would like to share with Canadians or Jamaican or friends of Canada across the world that we didn't get a chance to speak about?
Okay, well, just to add on to the last question that you asked, Lisa, again, for those who would prefer to go through a charitable organization, Food for the Poor Canada has been a good partner in that area. Last year from Beryl, they were there with us, and I'm on the phone with them constantly.
Jamaican founded, by the way.
There you go. And there's also the Jamaica, the Help Jamaica Foundation, Helping Hands Jamaica Foundation, that is also collecting. So again, those are 2 options that they have. But again, please visit us on our website. We work together, Lisa, the whole team, the GJDC, so we share the same information. So any of these sites, if they go on, they will find the information. And I just want to say again, how much we appreciate the overwhelming support that is being given by the diaspora in Canada to this effort.
Consul General Davis, anything very important that your WhatsApps, the WhatsApps plural, or your text messages, that a main question that you want to make sure that every single Jamaican listening to Earshot right here on Jamaicans.com that you want them to remember? What would that be?
I really want persons to remember that you have the power to make a difference. One little thing that you might think, oh, it's just $10, that can't do nothing. You know what $10 can do in Jamaica for somebody who have nothing? So give of yourself as well. Perhaps you may not say, I can't run with the money, but you have skill, you have talent, you have time, you can come out, you can volunteer to help pack, you can
100%.
volunteer to take calls, you can do stuff. So reach out to us, see how we can all chip in to make a difference for our friends and family back home.
I love that message, Consul General Davis. Lisa, where can we follow the Canadian Council, Jamaican Diaspora Council in Canada? How can we reach you? How can we support what you're doing, what you're trying to coordinate, the bridges that you're building? How can we support you?
Yeah, definitely. So we're on Instagram at gjdc.canada. You can send direct messages there. All of the information is posted on that site as well. You can also reach me via phone at 416-473-9570.
Boy, when a lady gives you her number, please use it with grace. Please be kind. Don't be calling at midnight. 416-473-9570. You can also follow Lisa's work at gjdc.canada on Instagram, and send her some support. If you're going to call and ask how to support, please come with a resource. Please bring some money. Please bring some relief supplies, and please volunteer your time, like Consul General Davis was saying. The members of the Canadian team, blessings to you. Thank you for joining us here on Jamaicans.com. We are Jamaicans. We will definitely rise out of this situation. But it's going to take all hands on deck. High Commissioner, Her Excellency Marsha Corlaban, checking in with us from Ottawa. Consul General of Jamaica to Toronto, Honorable Kurt Davis, checking in with us from the 6. And Lisa, tuning in from the 905, Brampton, Ontario, right here on Jamaicans.com. Thank you for tuning in. Station break here. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to our Building Back Jamaica Strong, the Diaspora in Action. We're choosing 2 countries this time because our friends on the UK probably sleeping by now. It's midnight, 1 a.m. We have tuning in. Ghana is here. Nigeria is here. Who else is here? Check in. If you're just joining us right here on Facebook, Instagram, and elsewhere, YouTube, please drop in the comments, where are you checking in from in the diaspora? And who are you connected to? Where, as I said, where you people them come from? Are you from the hills of Hanover in the mountain ranges? Are you from the cockpit country? Are you from Santa Cruz? Are you from New Hope? Are you from Savannah Lamar? Are you from, where are you from? South Manchester? Are you in the room? We want to see where you're connected. Marvelette Ashley Smith, she's checking in from Brampton. And Detroit checking in. Ebony, we see you. Please, everybody, please go to supportjamaica.gov. That supports ODPEM, and its funds are allocated direct emergency relief, housing reconstruction, healthcare support, economic recovery programs. You can send a donation there, no matter how small. And if you choose to, you can also support organizations like Food for the Poor, Samaritan's Purse, World Central Kitchen, Direct Relief, Global Empowerment Mission, Caribbean Strong Group, which I'm a part of. But wherever you are, you don't need to have no big title or no big organization. Like Consul General Davis said, you can organize right from where you are. There are 3 categories that we have identified that our family and friends in Western Jamaica in particular need. Comfort, shelter. What does that mean? Because you're homeless after a Category 5 storm, you need a tent. You need an air mattress. You need a blanket. You may need tarpaulin to cover your partially destroyed roof. You may need a battery-powered light. You may need water purification tablets. Hygiene is the second category. You need to hold a fresh, at the river with some bath gel, soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, feminine hygiene products are needed as part of the relief effort. And after you clean up, you need to fill your belly with some nourishment and some nutrition. So we need some non-perishable food, sardines, tuna, bully beef, chicken, right? Some protein bars, energy drink, energy shake, Supplement, Nutriment, Ensure. Any of those products are very important. Ebony from Detroit, her family's from Bluefields. There you go. Thank you for tuning in. Who do we have up next? We're going to the United States. I wonder if CG Mayer is not here yet. So maybe I can bring in back my good friend Xavier Murphy. If he's standing by in the green room, we can chat a little bit before we realize who is in the green room to kind of bring up next on this virtual town hall right on Jamaicans.com. So if you're just tuning in, if you were sleeping under a rock, Hurricane Melissa crawled at 2 miles an hour around Monday last week, and then she made a northeasterly turn, landfall near to New Hope at about 1 p.m. a week ago, and then made her way northeasterly through Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, through St. James and Trelawney, and exited and then went on to cause damage in eastern part of Cuba, in Santiago de Cuba, where, in fact, many people in eastern Cuba are of Jamaican descent, truth be told. And that's a story for another live here on Jamaicans.com. Brother Xavier, you were in Jamaica during Hurricane Melissa. What were you enjoying in the comfortable confines of the Kingston accommodations, sir?
Well, I'm blessed, and I will, want to thank the staff at the AC Hotel where I was. We felt pretty safe. They had an action plan in place, and that action plan, had a couple scenarios. Kingston was where the hurricane was going at first, and so it was pretty scary. once we were on the ground and we were there. But we were blessed, and the devastation that I'm seeing everywhere else is heartbreaking.
What were you feeling?
So,
What were you feeling at that time, knowing that you were coming back to South Florida, Miramar? You're stuck in Jamaica. Did you know whether or not the storm was going to come east or stay west?
well, listen, Melissa is a different hurricane. I've heard her being compared.
What school did Melissa go to?
I don't put me on the spot here now.
If you want to take a guess, what school did she go to, Xavier?
I think it's a school across
Let's
the
ask
street.
the chat. What school did Melissa go to? Jamaicans.com. Tell me right now in the chat. Give me a school that you think Melissa is from.
All right, defer to them. I want to say I'm blessed, and I'm appealing to everyone. Please support this cause. I know Marlon, you have some places that you have been working with. The goal, there's a goal. I know I won't say it, but
I will say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say we are mobilizing donations and cash because we can maximize the dollars with the partnership that we have with Caribbean Strong and Global Empowerment Mission. We don't care where you give. We want 10,000 minimum Jamaicans to give $100 by Thanksgiving Day, November the 27th. 10,000 Jamaicans, $100. If you go to SFL Caribbean Strong, you will see the link there. It goes to the U.S. Caribbean Strong Relief Fund, or you can give to Food for the Poor, or you can give to the American Friends of Jamaica. We will ask them what type of individual donations are they receiving. And it doesn't have to be Jamaicans. We want 10,000 unique donations, Xavier, from Jamaicans or persons of Jamaican descent or friends of Jamaica by Thanksgiving Day, giving a minimum of $100 cash.
And this is quite doable, everyone. This is doable. All 100%. Right, I won't take away from the time. I know we have New York. We have a representative from the Consul General office there from New York, and we also have from the South Consul General Mayor is on. So I won't take up any more time, but please, folks, this was a Category 5. Some people said it should have been called a Category 6 hurricane, and we need to mobilize, donate, help where you can. And I'm out. Marlon, thank you again.
Xavier, I know she didn't go to St. Hughes. I know Melissa didn't go to St. Hughes. Thank you, Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Please share this live. We're going to be answering some questions. One of the hardest working Consul Generals out there representing the Southern United States, several states as far west as Arizona, I believe, all the way down to here in South Florida, and including probably the Bahamas and Cayman Islands. I don't know what the jurisdiction is. I want to welcome the Honorable Oliver Mayer tuning in right now to Jamaicans.com as we recover from Hurricane Melissa a week ago. CG Mayer, are you there? Amazing, CG Mayer. How are you doing, my brother?
Boy, giving thanks. It's been very busy. I must tell you, I don't want to talk about goat mouth or goat thought. I was just maybe a week ago thinking, whoa, what a calm hurricane season. But then before the storm,
Yeah. Boy, the historic hurricane CG, 185 miles an hour. We started mobilizing supplies at the warehouse, Global Empowerment Warehouse, on Saturday morning at 9:30. We met at the warehouse in Doral. The storm was just lingering south of Jamaica. We weren't too sure whether it was going to go east or Jamaica was going to not going to get a direct hit. What were you thinking at that time, CG? For the sake of your family and your friends and family, your parent, your mom and everybody, what were you thinking at that moment?
When I saw it initially, just started to observe, and then at some point when I realized it was coming in for a hit. There was a time when it was us right there on the west, and we're all hoping it wouldn't turn up north. But I started to get very concerned because, of course, My mom is there, my brother, my aunt, and the reality of what that could mean. I've been a part of Hurricane Gilbert. I was up here for holidays in Miami when Hurricane Andrew hit. So I know what the reality is like for a weather system, to the impact and what that can mean. And you know, the reality of what has taken place. I mean, Hurricane Beryl, we were literally active on the ground, helping, supporting, and up to last month, there was still hurricane relief taking place, still putting on roofs, working closely with Global Empowerment Mission. I mean, both of us here have been very, very close with Michael Capone and the team. And, you know, they have been extremely helpful. And just last month, they were still putting up roofs. I believe close to 800 roofs are put up, and it's barely brushed Jamaica.
Yeah, I think Beryl and Melissa are related. Melissa obviously has a bad attitude. But CG, give us an update as to some of the highlights in terms of the government. What airports are open? Can you just give us a top level of what you've heard from the government? How many lives lost? Where people should start going for information, real-time information as to the state post landfall a week later? Where do we stand now? You know, when it says how it's going and how it started, how is it going?
Well, listen. In fairness, I think the government has been doing, you know, a fairly good job, and I think Hurricane Beryl prepared the government for this system, although it's far bigger, far more impactful. But you know, I'm a believer, and I believe God moves in mysterious ways. We're not sure exactly why these weather systems happen, but I do know that given what happened in Hurricane Beryl, the system agencies were allowed to work with each other far better. They were much better prepared for this conversation. I'm a part of several WhatsApp groups.
How many, CG? How many WhatsApp groups you have?
At least 25, at least, and that's conservative. I'm sure it's more, but from ministers, from community groups, organizations, and you know, just as an example, I don't want to single him out, but Minister Vaz, he's a man of urgency. Anything that is holding up a relief agency from coming into the island, he's about getting it in. Yes, there has to be accountability, but he's about getting the aid to people as fast as possible. That's what we all should be. The teams are far better prepared, but again, this is a Category 5. This hurricane is perhaps the worst that has happened in history. I know winds went up to as high as 215 miles per hour. And so we have to be patient with ourselves. We still have cities here in the United States that are recovering from Hurricane Andrew. We still have cities recovering from Hurricane Katrina. The first world country, United States. So though we want to see things faster, and though we'll keep the pressure on to get the relief as fast as possible, because we don't want to see any Jamaicans suffering at this time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I caution everybody, let us be a little patient with ourselves, because this is what, day 6 after the hurricane, right?
Day seven.
Day seven. What I would like to see, I do want to see some more, you know, the measurability in terms of, you know, where we're going, the end game. I heard a figure quoted today that the damage could be between $6 to $7 billion. It's an early assessment, so we know we're dealing with
US dollars.
The US dollars. All right, so we know we have a far way to go in terms of what we collected. I did get a sense of, I did make some calls. I have a sense of what has been collected so far in one of the funds. Should I have said that? I don't know. But I'm sure they will announce that. But all the efforts taking place, you know, we're working towards ensuring that we can provide aid quickly and that we can recover even faster and better as a country. One of the things, Marlon, I really want to stress is that unity is extremely important for us.
Extremely important, CG.
You know,
it is absolutely critical.
We have to work together. We have to give up our personal differences with each other we have to recognize that solidarity is key. We have to recognize how we work together is critical. We have to front and center keep our Jamaicans at home, front and center. Let us put differences aside. Let's put politics aside, differences, even thoughts we may have of each other. Hold it back. Be careful what we put on social media. Let not put out poison. Let us put love first and foremost and allow love to lead us as a community.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, Marlon, I am very pleased with our efforts so far as a unit here in the Southern United States. I mean, I can only speak about what we're doing down the side, but by and large, the community has been very supportive. The diaspora has been positive thus far. They're giving. There's an outpouring of love and support. I want us to continue that. We must keep front and center our Jamaicans back home who need our help.
Yes.
Let that drive us.
The urgency is high, CG. We have more people in need than the aid that we have. So we need more dollars and we need more relief supplies. Right now, we have a number of drop-off locations in the Southern United States, in Atlanta, Florida, Lauderhill, Tamarack, Miramar, Orlando, West Palm Beach, Wellington, Homestead, Pinecrest, Cutler Bay, Hialeah. These are cities. We have drop-off locations in North Carolina, Texas, Alabama. How are you monitoring how these items being collected in these states that are not near to ports of calls, CG Mayor, to make sure that they get to Jamaica safely?
Yeah. You know, leaders in the community. These relationships didn't happen yesterday. These are relationships that we have built up over time. Leaders in the community who have gathered together, set up drop-off points. We work quickly to get these points. Within 3 days, we had 50 drop-off points. You know, so I want to thank persons like Peter Gracie, our Global Jamaica Diaspora Council Representative, our honorary consuls, Fullerton and Dr. Brand. I want to thank our community leaders right across. You speak about Alabama, Pauline Ford, nine drop-off points. Little Alabama, Jamaicans are there. I go there every year. There's an annual festival there, and they were quick, and they're gathering funds together. And so in each state, there are drop-off points, and those points come in primarily into two major organizations, Marlon. We work closely with Food for the Poor and Global Empowerment Mission.
Right.
So you would have said this before, but I'll just reinforce. I mean, there are a couple of ways that persons can contribute. One, volunteers at either the two major organizations, Food for the Poor or Global Empowerment Mission. Two, you can give relief items to any of the over 50 drop-off points we have across the Southern United States and climbing, right? And the third way is, of course, monetary contribution. Support Jamaica.gov.gm is one of the ways. We also encourage you to support any of the major organizations that are providing relief support, people like Food for the Poor, Global Empowerment Mission, American Friends of Jamaica, Miami Strong. Some of these institutions that have a track record, have been on the ground, have been providing support. And the final thing I will say is that some of the relief concerts and stuff have started to be planned. We encourage that, and we encourage persons to give them support in ways that you can do in your community to give back, so that we have more funds, more aid to get to our people as fast as possible. The Prime Minister said accountability, and he wants that right across the board, and let us just use that as a hallmark, but accountability and speed at the same time.
Well, CG, supporting you on the ground, we have the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council in the Southern United States. We have Peter Gracie, Michelle Tulloch from the Northeast as well. And we also have Shauna representing the West and the Midwest. I want to bring them into the dining room table here, conversation, because in these far out corners of the United States, if you want to send items to Food for the Poor or to the Global Empowerment Mission so they can ship it, you can go to the Amazon list and order the items to be delivered there, as opposed to spending money on transportation and getting those items to the shipper. Peter Gracie, you've been on the ground. Tell us where you're checking in from. Tell us how are your people doing in Jamaica. What are you hearing from the Jamaicans in the diaspora that you represent in these 13 United States in the Southern United States. Talk to us.
Well, thanks for having me on this very important town hall. My family's in Kingston, and so they're doing well. But it's just unfortunate. It's really an unfortunate situation, and I just want to send my condolences out to everyone who lost lives during this devastating event. So I'm in Central Florida. I'm in the Orlando area, and we've been mobilizing and organizing and working closely with the CG, and also with the Caribbean movement that you actually jumped in and started. So most of my official conversations are coming out of the consulate, and it's coming from official, just straight official dialogue.
Yeah.
Here in Central Florida, we have created probably about 20 something drop-off points now. And yesterday, I had the opportunity to visit a shipping company to do a shipping 101, because the main question is, how do we ship? How does it work? And
what are some of those elements of shipping 101 that you want folks to remember?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people, they want to throw TVs and stuff in their barrels and throw things that has nothing to do with the hurricane, So we have to let them know, save the space for something more important, And they want to know about, the Jamaican customs advertise the import duty fee waiver along with the GCT, and so they had a lot of questions on those. So what I would normally do is just take it to social media and just give them the answers that I get as official answers,
right? As
working close with the CG. But one of my main concerns as we move beyond this immediate crisis is, and I've spoken to a few people about this, is what comes next, in particular for our children. Because many of these children are facing trauma, this loss and disruption of school in the community. I've seen some pictures with some schools totally gone, And so I partnered with a couple of attorneys here, Sonia Peterkin and Bridget Bennett. And Bridget is actually going to Washington to advocate for the extension of TPS for Jamaicans.
Well, extension meaning to get it even first before you can extend it.
To get it first, yes. Well, I'm not an attorney, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
But she's going there to get it reinstated or extended or something like that, So
yeah, we have to advocate for it to be even granted to Jamaica. Temporary protected status, Peter is referring to. It's an immigration eligibility benefit whenever there's a war or natural disaster where nationals can't return to their home country. So if you are a H2 laborer working in the hotels in Central Florida, or you're an agricultural worker working up in the Northeast, or you're working where Shauna is on the West Coast, and they can't return home to St. Elizabeth, temporary protected status could allow them to be here for a few months. So that's a conversation that's ongoing now with the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security as to whether or not we as Jamaicans are eligible for that. Let me bring in Shauna, Peter, your colleague on the West Coast, and I also want to bring in Miss Benjamin representing the Consulate of New York in the Northeast as well. We could bring her on to the Jamaicans.com stage. Shauna, how's your family? Give us a quick update. What are Jamaicans saying on the West Coast? What are they concerned about? What are they trying to organize? How are you helping them?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So I think before I start, I want to definitely say that I want to send our hearts out to other countries that were affected. So Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, who were also affected. We want to also say, to keep strong to those partners there. As for my family in Jamaica, we're from the West. So we got hit hard.
Mm.
My home there, because I live in both Jamaica and the US, my family
Yeah.
keeps our home there.
What parish, Shauna?
In Montego Bay in St. James.
Okay. And have you heard from them?
So I did finally hear from my closest relative 2 days ago, finally. And listen, you know, initially when it hit, we were all like, okay, you know, we know communication is rough, so let's just wait it out. Everybody's okay. And initially we were all okay. But the minute I heard my Aunt Norma's voice, I swear, by the time I got off the phone, we just bawled. I was so overwhelmed just from hearing her voice. She lives in the Anchovy area. So if you know anything about Montego Bay, Long Hill is treacherous just by itself without the disaster.
Yeah.
And so with, you know, Hurricane Melissa, it was even worse.
What was that weight? What was that emotional?
It was hard.
What was that weight? What was that weight like, Shauna?
I'm telling you, it was very difficult. You know, she's up in age and she's one of the, you know, strong leaders of our family. So it was very difficult. It was a very difficult weight. And just hearing her voice made me feel just the sense of relief that, you know, it just was very overwhelming. But I'm just.
What are they saying that they need in your part of the town in Western Jamaica from your parish?
Mostly water and food items is what they indicated, and battery packs, power banks, etc. Because one of the things that they indicated was that even though stores were open, a lot of the stores were smaller mom and pop stores that were open. And because they were victims of crime by people needing supplies and trying to take from the store, they were then limiting access. So you had persons having to come in by 1-1, 2-2 to get in, so that the lines were just enormous.
Wow. CG Mayor and Peter, want to give you an opportunity to kind of wrap us up on very specific things that you're asking of Jamaicans in the Southern United States, on things that you want them to prioritize over these next few days. The need is high, gentlemen. We know that we're trying to avoid a humanitarian crisis. What is the call to action at this point, CG Mayor?
All right. You know, we have to, it's lots of work ahead. I mean, we're looking at 2 to 5 years, at least minimum recovery. So all hands on board, and we're encouraging persons to continue to give, continue to support, rally the troops. Let us get as much aid down to Jamaica as fast as possible. I also want to just extend my sympathies to anybody who has lost loved ones, anybody who has had any sort of loss, or sympathies to you at this time. We are definitely rallying the troops. We're going to be having one of the first concerts we will having on December 6th with Bishop Fernandez, just as a major fundraiser, and also time to give thanks to God. They said everything, give thanks. And we'll be giving thanks to God as we rally the community together to continue to give and to continue to support the efforts. It's a day by day. This is not a 100-meter sprint. It's going to be a long-term run. We have to pace ourselves, but still move briskly.
Yeah.
All right. And
CG, we hope that you're also getting some rest and taking care of yourself as well.
Wife, take over phone. If I want to come home, Mr. Wife said, go to your bed now. Take an hour, take a break.
I'm on the
same
page as you. Peter, any closing remarks that you want to share for your Jamaican family across the Southern United States? What are you asking them to do to support you?
My thing right now is what happens after the headlines fade. You know, we have to create some form of sustainability, something to empower the diaspora momentum, because we know how it goes when the headline fades out. You know, people start get a little comfortable. You know, things slow down a little bit. And as CG said, it's not going to take 2 years. It's going to take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Who knows? Yeah. Because next year we have hurricane season come again, and the following year after that, and all of that. So it's how we sustain this momentum, you know. So we're looking to create some form of movement. That's what's in my head right now. How we can engage the entire diaspora now to say, listen, let's not stop. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So this is something we have to work together on.
It's an
You know?
opportunity. It's an opportunity. Peter
Yeah.
Gracie, Global Jamaican Diaspora Council for the Southern United States, Consul General Oliver Mayer, Consul General for the Southern United States. Before I go to New York, though, I got to hear a little bit from Shauna on what is happening on the West Coast, how she organizing California and New Mexico and Oregon and all the Washington, all these Midwestern states where we know that there are Jamaicans, Shauna, in many of these states. Who are you hearing from? How are they organizing? Typically, you won't find Jamaicans in Oklahoma or Idaho, but I know you're hearing from some of them. Tell us how are they organizing?
Yes, there are 23 states in the US West, Midwest. And so far, we have coming out of Illinois, the honorary consul there in Chicago, Mr. Lester Barkley, has notified me that they are having a lot of drop-off locations. They're trying to, they've connected with shipping companies to be able to ship directly from Illinois down to Florida. So definitely, if you're in the Illinois area, get in touch with your honorary consul there. Embassyofjamaica.org is always the main website to go to if you need to get in contact. They can then direct you to the nearest consulate to you. Midwest Mission out of Springfield, Illinois, that director Chantel Curry, they're actually mobilizing disaster relief in Jamaica. They're working with Food for the Poor. I know you mentioned Food for the Poor earlier. They had supplies left on Friday, October 31st to get to Jamaica. Direct Relief, I know you mentioned them earlier. They have a branch out in Santa Barbara in California. So
Thank you, Miami Heat. Miami Heat gave them $1 million for medical supplies.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison.
Yes. Yes, so medical backpacks, treatments for chronic conditions, over $1 million just worth of value went down, plus $250,000 in emergency funding that they're coordinating with the Ministry of Health. Team Rubicon out of Los Angeles is sending water, sanitation, and hygiene supplies.
Love that.
They're actually deploying a team down there as well. We have Convoy of Hope in Missouri. They're on the ground with food kits and water. There is International Medical Corps out of California, out of Los Angeles.
They have the license to send medicine.
As well as training our first responders. They've also teamed up with Uber. So Uber is providing free rides to mobilize volunteers for individuals who are on the ground who are seeking shelter and for delivery of essential supplies. So Emily Bowman, who is the Global Public Policy Director over at Uber, has committed.
So Shauna, where can everyone go to learn more about these partnerships and collaborations and support in the Midwest West? Where should they go? Tell us.
We work directly with our heads of missions or consulates. So Consul General Mayer, if you reach out to him, he's always going to be able to direct you.
Is there a platform? Do you have this information?
Our email is disaster@jaconsulatela.org. That's the consul website there.
Repeat that. Disaster
at jaconsulatela.org. Disaster@jaconsulatela.org. But as long as you're plugged into the official channels for the government, the embassyofjamaica.org, as well as CG Mayer's websites, and we have Chris Benjamin, who is our CRO over in New York. At the consulate there. I know he's in studio as well. He'll be able to tell you more. We have our CROs. They're my work.
Yeah, they are, Shauna. So Shauna, I'm gonna go to.
So much happening in the West. And I really
I'm gonna
just
move
want
now.
to
I'm gonna
tell
move now to
everybody
New York. We definitely want to support you. Disaster@jaconsulate.la. Disaster@jaconsulatela.org. Shauna Chin, Global Jamaican Diaspora Council representative for the West Midwest. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so glad that your family is safe, and I'm so glad that you were able to reach them. I cannot imagine the pain of waiting to hear from your family members directly, and I'm glad to see the smile on your face.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Moving now to Mr. Christopher Benjamin and also Michelle Tullock representing the Northeast. This is the foundation part of the United States. Brooklyn, Pennsylvania, stand up, Connecticut, whereas New Jersey, Rhode Island, I mean, this part of the world here is like the foundation of Jamaican diaspora, and we want to bring them into this conversation. They're going to bring us in for a landing. Consul General, representative from the representing the Northeast, Mr. Christopher Benjamin. We see you behind the scenes, man. How's your family?
Well, my family, they're doing good. You know, like Sean a while ago, I was actually quite happy that one of the calls I got yesterday was from my sister, whose birthday it so happened to have been yesterday. She lives in Montego Bay, even though we're from Portland originally, but I hadn't been able to reach her until yesterday when she called. She said their family's okay, but they're going to be without power and telecoms for a little while. You know, as she says, she has to cut up on the side of the road to get a little phone service. But
where was she cutting? Because this is important. What location was that?
Well, they live out in the Rose Hall area, and so I suspect that they were traveling somewhere along the corridor from Montego Bay. She says it's only when they go out on the streets that they are able to get phone service. Yeah.
So when did you start getting calls from New York Jamaicans about Melissa? How did it manifest itself? Because you know it builds, right?
We started getting calls from the Saturday before Melissa.
And what were the questions then?
Well, you see, what had happened was that the media had created a sort of, I would want to call it mild hysteria in the market, because what was happening was that they were saying that, it's a category 5, it's going to be devastating. The entire country is going to be flattened. And so there's not going to be anything left. So everybody was calling to ask, are the airports going to still be open? Are people going to get out? And so one of the first things that we had to do was to jump into action to start communicating with the folks to say, look, we know that it's a storm, it's going to be serious. And, I came in off the streets on Saturday from about 11 o'clock, and I sat down at my desk, and I never got up until 1 o'clock Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Because we were just monitoring everything and sending out email updates to let people know as soon as I saw that the airports were, when they were going to close, to let people know, because there are a few people who were here as well who have their properties back home in Jamaica and were calling to find out, are the flights going to be able for them to get home? Because they wanted to get home before the storm.
Yeah.
So, letting people know that, boy, stay with your relatives a few more days. Ask somebody to go and check the house to make sure that it's secure, because, you're not going to go.
Yeah. That anxiety was so high, Michelle. I'm sure the anxiety was high for you as well. Tell us a little bit about your family. What parish are you connected to? And were you sharing that anxiety before Melissa landed in Jamaica a week ago?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. And, my heart and sympathy goes to everyone that's been affected. My mom is actually from Montego Bay, St. James. But I grew up in Kingston, and I do have a stepdad and a brother in Kingston, so they are doing pretty well. But Montego Bay, as you know, that's where the issue is. So we plan on going there as soon as we can and to do some work as well as a family.
Right.
Yeah, because we have property there.
So as the Global Jamaican Diaspora Representative on the Council for the Northeast, what are Jamaicans in the Northeast saying? When did the tsunami of text messages and WhatsApp messages start to hit your phone, and how did you organize yourself to be helpful to them?
Well, it started, like Chris says, it was before people were anticipating, and I agree with him with the media and everything. And so before you knew it, and I work very closely with Chris Chaplin, Honorary Consul. And so before you know it, we had Channel 3 calling me, Channel 6 calling me, Channel 10. And then individuals were reaching out as well. And the thing is, Michelle, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And then I'm very much involved in my community in more than one ways, in different organizations. And so everybody reached out.
And where are you exactly, Michelle? Where are you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm in Philly.
You're in Philly. Okay.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And excellent. So, yeah, thank you. And so we are surrounded, and so everybody was calling, Michelle, how can I help? The churches were the ones that called me and like, I would love for you to use my facility as a drop-off location. So for me, it wasn't so much of the ask, it was people asking me like, how can I help? And this is what I'm willing to offer you.
And where should they go? Where should they go, Michelle? Where are some of the central places that Jamaicans in the Northeast area should go to self-organize, to donate, self-organize to bring supplies, self-organize to volunteer? Where are you directing them to?
Well, my first every person that call me, I always ask them, where exactly are you located?
Right.
And because I'm Diaspora for the Northeast, I have an entire flyer with all the different states and cities on it. So when you call me, I'm like, where are you from? If you're from New Jersey, I send you that information. If you're from Boston, I'll send you that information. If you're from Philly, I'll send you that information. And every day I'm adding more and more to that list. So that's what I'm doing. And the drop-offs are going real well. One of the churches called me today and she says, Michelle, I have 3 barrels already for you. And I was like, okay.
That is
and
so
then
awesome.
Isn't it right?
So powerful,
and
so
then
powerful.
what we are doing is Chris Chaplin and I, we have been going around on Sunday to the various churches that are drop-off location, just to be physical, just say hi in advance. We thank you. So that's what I've been doing. On the Sunday before it hit, I literally visited 4 churches, and this past weekend I visited 3 churches.
Yeah.
Just to let them know it helps.
You know, Chris, this is such a disruptive natural force. You know, we have the man-made disaster in the United States, unfortunately, with the shutdown, which is putting pressures on many, many people. And then you have the natural disaster with Melissa. What are you hearing at the consulate? What kind of issues are you resolving with them? And where should they go for your frequently asked questions to resolve issues they may have, Chris?
All right. So as it relates to, the hurricane, most people, we set up a hotline for persons to call. It's 888-817-9050. And that hotline is manned daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Somebody will be there to answer call. Most of the queries that we get are for persons who are interested in making donations. But one of the things that we did, and we started this from Beryl. I don't know if other storms people have done it, but we did it last year in Beryl, where if someone was not able to reach their loved ones, we asked them to share the information, last known address, etc. And what we do is that we pass that on to the JCF and ask them to at least—
JCF is?
The Jamaica Constabulary Force. So that folks on the ground, if they're passing by, they can check to see, and then they feedback. Now, I know a lot of people, when they call, they want to get an answer same time, next day, but sometimes it takes days, a couple of weeks in some instances, because there's not going to be any telecoms in the area. I remember last time there was one lady who lost her phone altogether, so there was no way for her to call her relatives here, even though she was quite fine. And so we have that. And then our website as well is populated with information that persons can visit to get, the most updated information.
What website is that, Chris? Please.
The website is congenjamaica-ny.org. That's CONGEN, Jamaica spelled out -ny.org. And of course, they can visit any of our social media pages. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and also X, and they can get information from there. We try to update as much as possible with the current information. We also share, from time to time, like an Instagram Live or something like that, so that persons can get the most information, ask the questions, and we give it to them right then and there, so nobody has to be waiting beyond. While I was in the green room, I remember hearing Peter Gracie talking about, like, for example, some of the customs stuff. One of the things that we have been getting a lot of calls about is that customs has offered personal effects to be sent as hurricane relief. And again, no TVs, there's a prescribed list. But the question that a few folks had was, is the 30-day window sufficient, given the fact that by the time they get the barrel and ship it to Jamaica, the 30 days may have expired? Well, expecting the official announcement tomorrow, but Customs have reached out to indicate that essentially the 30-day window, which is up to the 28th of November, is dependent on when your shipper files the necessary paperwork, and that must be done before the 28th of November.
One thing they should note though, Chris, is that the government depends on revenue to provide services, right? So the government is being the economy of the government, the tourism economy, the agricultural economy is going to be disrupted, and we are going to lose revenue streams to provide services to the general population. So it's a partnership. You need to provide them. So when you go to supportjamaica.gov.jm, there's a link there for the drop-off locations. You'll be able to see the drop-off locations in the Northeast where Michelle is and where Chris is in Philly, Pennsylvania. You'll also see the drop-off locations in North Carolina, Texas, Alabama, in the Midwest. So when you go to supportjamaica.gov.jm, the money that you give there, even though it may not be tax deductible to U.S. donors, it is going to support the relief effort that ODPEM knows the immediate damage assessment. This is very, very critical. And so if you want to give to American Friends of Jamaica, or you want to give to Douglas World Central Kitchen or Food for the Poor or Global Empowerment Mission, those dollars will also go to support what ODPEM is doing. So this is a very important website because Chris and the staff at the consulate, both also in Miami and also with Ambassador Anthony Anderson in DC, Maryland, in the DMV area, this is direct information that's coming from Jamaica House and the Prime Minister's office and from Cabinet. So it's going to be very important for you to pay attention to the emergency needs list from ODPEM. If you're missing a family member, give the information there that Chris just mentioned. There's also a medical evacuation phone number that is also available, and that number is 876-906-7668. I'll repeat, emergency evacuation. There may be a family member who has not been accounted for that is having a medical emergency. We want you to call 876-906-7668. And in order to reach Chris and the team in New York, who's by extension, Michelle is right there as the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council representative, disaster at jaconsulate.ja.org. Is that it, Chris? .ny. Disaster at jaconsulate.ny.
No, that's for the West Coast.
Oh, that's for the West Coast. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Our website.
CongenJamaica.ny.org. Forgive me.
-ny.
-ny.
Yes.
Let me repeat. CongenJamaica-ny.org for our folks in the Northeast United States. And the phone number is 888-817-9050. I'm going to repeat for our friends in the Northeast again, the phone number, the hotline that Chris is going to answer at 2 a.m. 888-817-9050. We want to thank you both. I'm glad that your families are safe. We're going to spend a couple minutes to kind of just wrap up some of the contact information. And we hope that folks will reach out to you to make sure that we can do this in a very orderly and disciplined manner to support our family and friends in Jamaica. Chris, last word?
Yeah, Marlon, just one more thing that I want to share with folks, and I heard somebody say that earlier as well. You don't have to go, if you want to contribute, you want to buy something, we have an Amazon link. It's also up on our website. You can order the items on Amazon and it gets shipped directly to us here at the consulate. So anywhere you are in the US, so you know, what we have done is curated the list from ODPEM on Amazon, so you can go on there, click the items, put it in your cart, and have it shipped here. We have a room upstairs that is filling up with boxes, and we want.
And you have shipping partners.
Yes, we have shipping partners here. We actually have currently 4, and based on a meeting that we just had a while ago, there is a possibility that there is going to be a 5th shipping partner. So anything that we collect here in New York will be sent to Jamaica with one of these partners.
Excellent. Michelle Tulloch-Neal, Global Jamaican Diaspora Representative. Last word from you. Any last thing you want to share, Michelle, before we depart?
Yes, there's one thing I'd like to share, and it has to do with Chris. Chris, there's a a message just coming out. Maybe it had to do with you. The date has now been changed.
I saw that.
31st.
I'm going to check.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what my phone is blowing up about. So that's what I want to leave. But volunteers.
Bring us in the room, no man. What date is that?
So apparently, someone is saying that I should check the Prime Minister's page, that the date for sending personal effects has been extended to December 31st.
Breaking news.
So yeah, breaking news. So I'm gonna check that as well, because
that's breaking news, and that includes the holidays as well. But for both of you with your hard work, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna ask the producers of Jamaicans.com to give us a little 10 minutes, toops the man, to answer some questions in the chat. I'm going to go over some of the contact information, and while we're doing that, maybe the producers can bring up some very specific questions that we can answer for our viewers here on the Building Back Jamaica Strong, the Diaspora in Action. This is the USA and Canada edition. The UK edition is going to be on Thursday. Please look out for the announcement. Thursday, we're going to be speaking with our family and friends from the UK, Birmingham, London, Chelsea, all those folks in the UK. You're going to be checking on. So I want to thank our representatives, both the consul representatives from the High Commission in Canada, High Commissioner Marsha Corlaban, and Consul General Kurt Davis for joining us here on the program, here on Jamaicans.com, our representatives from the Northeast and our representatives from the Southern United States. What we're asking of you now is for you who are listening we have a mission to help our family and friends, especially in Western Jamaica, to survive a Category 5 storm. Right now, we have lost lives, right? And we really also have some who are even unaccounted for, to be quite honest. The damage assessment is still being done, and they need comfort items, tents, tarpaulins, air mattress, power lighting, to at least feel safe from the elements. They need nourishment. They need food, canned protein, canned fruit, protein bars, other items, Ensure, Nutriment, Supplement. Those items are emergency relief items. Right now, we have more people impacted than the aid getting to them because of the rough terrain. We want to thank the members of Jamaica Defense Force, Jamaica Constabulary Force, all the hardworking public service workers at the hospitals who also have family members. We really want to thank you for your hard work as well. The members of parliament from the government and the opposition as well for the hard work trying to represent their residents of Jamaica. We're asking you to go to supportjamaica.gov.jm. Please be careful of the scamming sites that are out there. Fraudulent sites. Do not click on anything that has not been verified. Support jamaica.gov.jm. And then you have the many sites of the nonprofits that are doing the hard work. American Friends of Jamaica. Check them out, their website, the_AFJ.org. You have Food for the Poor, foodforthepoor.org. Support the work that they're doing. Global Empowerment Mission.org, World Central Kitchen, and there are many other nonprofits that are doing the work. Direct Relief as well, and doing the work as well. Samaritan's Purses in Jamaica. We also want to thank the United States government and the other governments across the hemisphere and the globe for sending support to our homeland in Jamaica. I don't want to go through the list of countries that are supporting, but certainly the search and rescue teams that are there, not from the United States, El Salvador, and other supports from other countries. We're encouraging everyone to organize where you are, to raise the dollars that we need to raise, and also to marshal the relief supplies our people need it to avoid us to really cross the threshold of a humanitarian crisis where temporary protected status could be needed, but we can avoid it if we step up to the plate. And we're asking you to do that here. If you have any questions about what we discussed here tonight, you can send us a DM at Jamaicans.com or any of the representatives who appeared here. We're asking you to share this live on your social media platforms to magnify this message. Let us be informed. Let us be proactive. Let us be gracious with each other with some patience, but be very deliberate and resilient as we are as Jamaicans. Thank you for tuning in tonight here on Jamaicans.com.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.